Who needs Stephen Hawking when you've got Logan Paul? You know what I mean? Today we're going to run through Logan Paul's theory of the universe. Basically, he has solved everything, and physicists, mathematicians, they can just pack up. They're not needed anymore. It's over. It always comes from where you least expect it. Logan Paul is no exception here. He's definitely the least expected person to know anything about the universe. But anyway, shall we get into his little notes? So I'm going to change the scene here. Let's have a look-sees. So before we get started, I just want to say, I don't want to discourage people from doing this sort of thing. I think it's great. I commend him for his effort. But I do have a problem with him thinking that scientists are just out here guessing or something. That's not how it works, bro. So I'm going to go through this, and we're going to see what he gets right, just how much of it is wrong, and then we'll call it a day. All right, let's see how many rocks are in this guy's head. So he's got a nice infinity symbol there. That's cool. Infinity is a concept, that it is. Doesn't exist in the natural universe. It actually might. We don't know this one. So it just occurred to me, we actually do have a proof, like a literal walking, talking proof that infinity exists in the natural universe. And that would be Logan Paul's stupidity. It's infinite. Sphere/circle equals God shape. Celestial bodies. I can safely say that if you have a kid one day and he says this, or if he writes this out, you can safely take him behind a barn. You can take him behind the barn and just shoot him, okay? No one will notice. That is an oxygen waster. I'm kidding. That's a joke, okay? Relax. But look, this is very bad stuff. Very, very bad. I think he's referring here to sacred geometry, which is just like this, basically a scam. And of course, this guy is promoting, scam science because he's a scammer, right? So, now, back in the day, sacred geometry, there were some prominent figures who thought it might actually be a thing, and then there were all these like mysterious shapes. What are they, like the 5 bodies or whatever that made up like celestial bodies like planets? But that's just pure bullshit. Do you seriously think like other worlds in our solar system are just like hollow things made of shapes? We know that's not true. Anyway, universe is likely finite and contained and spherical. All right. Look, we don't know this one. So it could be finite, it could be contained, it could be spherical. We don't have sufficient evidence. We don't even have evidence to really suggest that that's the case. Like concrete evidence. I think there's probably slightly more shitty evidence that it's actually infinite. We know based on current observations, suggest that the universe is actually far larger than what we can currently see, than the observable universe. Now, this is a sticky fucking area, but the universe seems to be much larger than what we can currently see. The observable universe, by the way, is like 94 billion light years in diameter. We fairly sure it is much larger. It could be infinite. And actually, if you want the opinion of me and many other, people in astrophysics, we all kind of think it's probably infinite in size. So this one is a big fat question mark. We don't know, man. Just like this one, big fat question mark. We don't have enough evidence. All right, time, infinite. At least there's a question mark. You see, I don't mind if there's a question mark. So time, infinite. Well, time is this big fucking conundrum, guys. Like we just don't know what it is. And there are so many ignorant fools on the internet who don't know anything about physics, and they want to chip in, time is a man-made construct, and all that jazz. Look, we really don't know what time is. We've got 2 pillars of modern physics, right? You got quantum theory and general relativity. And guess what? They both kind of paint time as a different kind of thing. They don't play ball. And that's a big problem. If you want to hear more about that, go check out the Tenet video I made. But yeah, and go listen to a guy, a theoretical physicist called Nima Amani Ahmed. I'm pretty sure that's his name, at Princeton. He'll tell you more about that. Infinite? Who knows, man? I don't know. Go check out CalVPN. I've created the world's first quantum-safe consumer VPN. It's not just a VPN. Fuck you. It has post-quantum cryptography, and this is going to be really important going forward. There's lots of news coming out about powerful quantum computers be coming right around the corner when they come. So if you don't want to get cummed on by powerful quantum computers, come check out my post-quantum VPN. So I created it, and I had a lot of fun creating. I'm also creating this AI project that is about to be dropped on y'all like an atomic bomb. I feel like I shouldn't probably say stuff like that on the internet. But anyway, I'm going to drop that on you soon. And so please subscribe, stick around. Okay, moving on. Eventually, all stars will die. Equals no more light. All right, this one's pretty good. That one's good. That one's all right. We'll let that one slide. So eventually, all stars will die if the universe continues to evolve the way it do, and the way it gonna be. This is how it be. All right. So eventually, all the stars will die because lots of reasons. But let me just say, yes, correct. Okay, good. But when he says no more light, unfortunately, that's kind of not true. So photons will still be out there. They will possibly reach infinity. Now, if you want to know what the fuck I'm talking about, you're going to have to go study some physics. But basically, the universe is expanding, right? And photons are traveling, light is traveling through the expanding universe. And these photons get cosmologically redshifted. They get stretched, okay? And so over time, it gets harder to see light with our tools. And, eventually you could theoretically, photons could get stretched to their wavelength I'm talking about here, right? Because that gets too complex. Anyway, its wavelength, what this stuff is made of, is eventually, theoretically, could get stretched to beyond the observable universe. But it doesn't need to get anywhere near that large before our tools could never detect it. But just a little food for thought there. So light actually could reach infinity here, be maybe even the last remaining. It becomes problematic when you talk about this stuff because quantum fields will still be there. All right, let's not talk about this anymore. Too complicated. Go listen to someone who's studied physics and math, and they will be like, don't do it in America, though, because they might just shoot you. Anyway, moving on. If universe is contained, has an end. Can I just say, even if the universe isn't contained, it still might have an end. We really just don't know what we're talking about when we're talking about such big questions, and who knows, guys. I do commend him for his attempts here. I respect having a go. I really do. When it comes to physics, astrophysics, the universe, think about this shit, guys. It's awesome. It'll make your head grow. Can we assume apple in a box theory? Apple in a box theory is not a thing. Point care recurrence. All right, that's a thing. All right, so I see what he's talking about with apple in a box. So just quickly, point care recurrence is this mathematical theorem that basically states that in a closed finite system with a finite number of states, any state of the system that persists for a sufficiently long time will basically eventually recur arbitrarily closely to its initial state. And so I think this is what he's getting at with this apple in a box theory, saying that eventually, the universe will repeat and you'll get the apple in a box again. The one thing you got to know here, though, this only applies to closed and finite systems. Okay, the universe might not be a closed finite system. It kind of looks like it's an open infinite system. So that means it wouldn't apply. It basically just implies that in a closed system, entropy, which is a measure of the disorder of a system, right? It just can't increase indefinitely. Instead there's a finite upper limit to the amount of entropy that can be generated in a closed system, and that system will thus eventually return to a state of low entropy. When everything is dead and dust, it becomes a dense collection of matter because gravity. This one makes me kind of want to cry because it's clear that he hasn't read a single thing about astrophysics. Okay, so look, yes, all right, things might be dead and dust and a dense collection of matter and heaps of gravity one day. For sure. But, my dude, the consensus, what we currently think, which is based on observations, experimental evidence, suggests this ain't gonna be. Basically, there's something called dark energy. We're pretty sure it's there. We're not absolutely convinced, that's for sure. But on the large scales of the universe, gravity doesn't have much say. On larger scales in the local group of galaxies, dark energy actually takes over. Gravity is a very weak force. So gravity, like I said, on these local scales, these close galaxies, gravity is strong enough to pull these things together. Okay, and eventually they'll merge. But beyond that, the local group, which is a very small bit compared to the observable universe, tiny, Dark energy is making everything, fly further and further apart, faster and faster. And so what he's saying here is kind of not going to happen. Gravity is not going to cause everything to become a dense collection of matter. Gravity is too weak to do that. Dark energy is making everything expand. Like, it just blows my mind that this guy doesn't know this. Everyone loves dark energy. Who doesn't love fucking dark energy? Everyone knows the universe is expanding. So again, if your boy says this, give him a big slap for me. Said that's from DJ Dance. He said it's okay. All right, so moving on. Black holes everywhere. Yeah, look, he's right here. This one's good. Good stuff. Black holes are fucking everywhere. They are in your backyard. They're in your fridge. They are. I'm not going to say that. No, they're not in those places, but they are everywhere, guys. At least, like if my house is the galaxy, that makes my fridge and stuff other places in the galaxy, you see? Well, guess what? We think there's about 100 million black holes in our galaxy alone. Yeah. I see your mouth open. Logan Paul's brain seems to have been sucked into a black hole and just destroyed. So maybe that's the big problem here. Black holes are everywhere. I could just yap on about this all day, but look, he got it right. That's good. Black holes are. There's so much awesome shit about black holes, man. They're just, you got supermassive black holes. The ones that black holes are the coolest, man. And I kind of just want to continue talking about them, but we gotta stay on track. So next, universe essentially collapses on itself, high density and temperature. I'm confused why he's written high density and temperature over here, because that tends to be what happens when something collapses in on itself. So, he got that. That's nice, good. But this is not the consensus in astrophysics. We do not think there's a big crunch coming. So if you want to read more into this sort of thing, go have a look. Go Google big crunch. But guess what? The evidence, observations do not suggest this is what's going to happen. Though there's, granted, very large uncertainties when it comes to cosmology. And what's really going to happen? Well, we really can't say. We can guess. We can plug things into our big supercomputers and create these beautiful simulations of the universe. But look, they're very simplified. We don't know what's going to happen. Big Bang. Look, I kind of want to talk about cyclical cosmology here as well, but I can see he's written it right here. So let's see what he writes. Universe repeats, life is cycle. We become the apple. Again, idea. Okay, universe repeats. So yeah, look, it could. If you want to read more into this sort of thing, go check out Roger Penrose's Cyclical Cosmology. But guess what? We do not think that's going to happen. Current observations, the evidence says no. That doesn't look like what's going to. It could though. Okay, so it could. We don't know. I could just talk about this all day because there's so much good stuff to talk about there. But moving on. Conclusion. So I'm not really sure how you get a conclusion out of just a random bunch of stuff. I don't get why this guy thinks he's just figured out the universe without really looking. Conclusion. You're going to want to sit down for this one. Nothing matters except the time we have now and each other. Love. A force of attraction similar to gravity. Oh, man. So, yeah, this guy definitely just watched Interstellar. The whole love is, the fifth dimension. Look, I kind of don't want to talk about this one because who really knows what's going on in the universe? We sure don't. Nothing matters. Okay, so this nothing matters. Who are you to say what matters? We have no idea what matters. Does the universe have a meaning? Does it have a purpose? We don't know any of this stuff, guys. Stop pretending like you know. I don't know why every man and his frog on Twitter seems to think they know everything, and they just, they give out all this advice to other humans, and it's like, sit the fuck down. You have no idea what's going on. You, your mum, your friends, they don't know what's going on. No one does, all right? So you need to just stop giving people advice. Accept the time. We don't know what time is. We have now. I pretty much agree with him here. You know, like nothing matters except the time we have now and each other. Like if I just forget the whole physics stuff and, you know, trying to figure out what's going on with nature, this is what I tend to, you know, fall to as well. A force of attraction similar to gravity. Okay, that one's pretty hopeless. But look, we also all have to remember, guys, we really don't know what's going on at the end of the day. And wacky stuff like this could, you know, we don't know what consciousness is. We don't know if we're just hallucinating this reality, which we are, by the way. Like, who really knows what's going on and what consciousness is? Just keep that in mind. So don't be so sure of what you think you know, please. And look, at the end of the day, this is the kind of thing that I fall back on as well. And I don't say this first bit, but, you know, the time you get, the now, seems like it's probably pretty important. So I try to, you know, spend it with other people occasionally. And it's all about love for me as well, man. Anyway, all right. Asterisks, black holes. So there was an asterisk up here. Natural universe. Anyway, black holes, wormholes. Laws of physics no longer apply. Interesting. So they might actually not apply. So that's pretty cool. But we don't know what black holes and wormholes really are. Theoretical physics loves to wank on about things. But at the end of the day, they're a big fat mystery. You know, we have experimental data, evidence, observational data that shows black holes. It looks like they really do exist. Okay. And theoretical physics has heaps to say about these things. Theoretical physics is, you got to be careful there. You know, the important thing at the end of the day is experimental, observational evidence. What the universe is actually doing is the important part, not what we can do with our math. You do heaps of tricky shit with math. So, you know, this thing is bunk. You can't really just say that, guys. Like, laws of physics, they might not apply on the other side of the event horizon. Sure as hell on our side of the event horizons, the laws of physics apply. Infinity exists. Didn't he just say up here it doesn't exist? Doesn't exist in natural universe? Is he saying these things aren't natural? So look, he's got 2 question marks here, so he's confused. This is good. You know, people need to not be so sure about such things like this, because a lot of this stuff, really, so much uncertainty when it comes to these things in cosmology. Okay, so guys, please be more uncertain. Multiverse. So again, there's really no evidence for a multiverse. We have no idea. There's lots of scientific speculation. I'm not a fan of people calling it pseudoscience. That's just kind of silly to me. Like Sabine, that Hossenfelder woman, she is so techno-pessimistic. Oh my goodness, I cannot listen to her. But, you know, like calling this pseudoscience, guys, it might actually be real, all right? So let's try and come up with a way to test these things and do experiments and things like that. Look, the universe doesn't do much in singles. So, you know, why does the universe why is there just one universe? There's lots of questions here which we actually might be able to probe with science one day. So, but we're not going to be able to unless we think about it and try and treat it scientifically. And unfortunately, some people like Sabine just want to like ignore it. I don't know. But who, what created it and why? God. I love that, you know, because he's so ignorant of what's going on, he just doesn't know anything. He's just like, God. That's always the answer when people don't know anything. I kind of think of God as like an ever-receding pocket of ignorance. He's getting smaller and smaller, that guy. We're chopping him down every day. But hey, guys, we don't know. There could be a big fat guy just watching, just you know, laughing at this guy right now, being like, dude, you've got no idea. And who knows? I suspect there probably is something more to this universe, but that is just my opinion, guys. I've got no idea. This place could be infinite and eternal. Physics is about using these tricky things to figure out the universe and what's going on and what it's doing and how it's evolving and where it comes from and where it's going and why Logan Paul is so stupid. No, I'm kidding. But I've got one more thing to say, guys, and then I will let you go. Make sure you like and subscribe to this channel. Go check out CalVPN. I've created the world's first quantum safe consumer VPN. It's not just a VPN. Fuck you. It has post-quantum cryptography, and this is going to be really important going forward. There's lots of news coming out about powerful quantum computers be coming right around the corner when they come. So if you don't want to get cummed on by powerful quantum computers, come check out my post-quantum VPN. So I created it, and I had a lot of fun creating. I'm also creating this AI project that is about to be dropped on y'all like an atomic bomb. I feel like I shouldn't probably say stuff like that on the internet, but anyway, I'm gonna drop that on you soon. And so please subscribe, stick around. We got some videos coming out soon, and one more thing to do, and then you can get back to letting Logan Paul scam you. So all right, that's it. Get out of here.